Hello everyone, today I thought I'd do a how to build video. I haven't done one in a while. I thought I'd do one of a very useful PvE character, and that is the Green Arthur. I'm pretty sure he was given out for free quite a while ago. He is on the SSR tickets, so he's pretty accessible. And he is probably one of the best PvE characters in the game, mainly because of his passive and his relic. They both work together very well. Of course, first we start with stats. Very decent stats for his time. Defense rate stats bad. Crit chance isn't the worst, but definitely seen better. Lifesteal is pretty good for a human. Pierce rate's horrible, resistance is horrible, but overall he's not that bad of a character. Bear in mind he's not built for DPS, but he's still not too bad. From this, I hit the back button because I'm an idiot. Anyway, onto his cards. So his first card is a disable buffs and debuffs, which you don't actually use. If you get it, you get it, but normally you won't pick to choose it because it doesn't actually do that much damage. You can see the multiplier doesn't increase from 1 to 2, but at 3 it does also remove buffs as well and disables buffs and debuffs for 2 turns with having a 360% multiplier, which isn't actually that high. Doesn't actually increase that much. I do wish they made it so it did increase to 300% and this to, I don't know, 400. Just makes it actually worth playing a level 2 card where you can play a level 1 card and still get the same damage, because most PvE bosses and stuff, you can't, debuffs don't really work. Of course, unless they're an old boss, or they're a low difficulty. Lower difficulties mainly allow debuffs, unless it's hell. Hell does not allow debuffs. Extreme, hard, and normal normally do. This is just an AoE card, no effect at all. Doesn't do much damage, but at least the multiplier is level 3 is decent. Level 1, it's very low with no effect. I'm pretty sure some characters have that with an effect. 225, also very low again. But at level 3 is not too bad, 375 for an AoE card. Onto his ultimate. His ultimate is a Sever ult. Sever is a very powerful ultimate. The ability to pretty much guarantee crit, as long as the enemy does not have stupidly high crit resistance, is very useful, especially with the very high multiplier of 945%. Which isn't too bad, especially because he can be a card magnet sometimes, and getting his ultimate can also be pretty useful. So the main reason why he is broken is because of his passive. His passive increase allies damage dealt to enemies by 35% and decrease damage taken by 35% if all allies are alive. So, this has no restriction on race, this has no restriction on attribute or anything like that. This works with everyone. This is the reason why he's so good. He's good for training grow, reverse stages. Actually, no, the reverse stages, you can't use him. And then Tower. Tower, he's very good. Which is why I highly recommend leveling him up, is because Tower is leaving soon, so you might as well level him up, make sure you do all your tower stages, get all the diamonds, get all the rewards, so that means you're not missing out on anything. Onto his relic, which actually really helps, which is applies an effect which decreases all enemies' defense-related stats by 20% for 1 turn, and this applies like Green Mono's passive. So at the start of every turn, it'll apply this to every enemy. Of course, if they are debuff immune, then of course it won't work. But if they're not, they get debuff, which is also very useful, especially for the fact that you're having your damage increased by 35%, you're lowering their defense-related stats by 20%, you then, let's just say, have Rag Barn back for the increased attack-related stats. You know, you're looking at pretty much guaranteed crits, especially if you use the Ultimate 1, use all these other good characters. You'll be completely fine, you'll hit really hard, and it can actually be pretty useful. Now, coming on to gear. My gear, HP defense, not the best set, but this piece is pretty decent. But this is the set I used on my Excalibur Arthur, and I pretty much use on all Arthurs. There is no Arthur that needs an attack set so far. As I'm making this video, there is no Arthur that requires a attack crit dam set, as none of them are built for DPS. Back in the day, Mono Red, which consisted of Red Arthur, Red Escanor, I don't remember who the final one was. Don't know how I forgot. Red Gotha probably, and then another red character in the back, probably Twigo or Jericho. But back in the day, Red was a very good team. Arthur still wasn't DPS, but of course he was there to buff Escanor, but he was once again still HP defense. I highly also do recommend making UOD HP defense for him, mainly because it's always good, especially if you want to farm certain things. You know, he can work in Demonic Beast. You know, there's no restriction to Demonic Beast on his passive. He just doesn't work in Demons. That's fine. You can use him on Demonic Beast, which is kind of cool. He of course doesn't work in PvP, but if you want to use him in Demonic Beast, you can, because his passive works. His relic, of course, won't work, as they normally can't be debuffed or stat debuffed. So of course do bear that in mind. His cards aren't the highest DPS, but of course, you know, trading a little bit of things that aren't good for a very broken passive might be pretty useful, especially if you don't have specific characters that are good for the demonic beasts. On to outfits. So I don't actually have any paid outfits. These are all the ones from upgrading all of the authors, as there are so many of them. Same with weapons. These are all like event weapons. Like this is the current event weapon that's out. Like I mainly just gone for crit chance. I think the ones that do have crit chance, I've selected them. Maybe I should go for pierce rate because his crit chance is very low. But of course, you know these are I've never paid diamonds for any of these. All of these have been from events, or from affinity, or just stuff like that. Moving on to headgears, so there have only been 4 headgears that you've been able to obtain without spending diamonds. Of course, there's no point spending diamonds for the 5th one, unless you really want to. Well, if you are, I'd highly recommend getting this one, just because 3% lifesteal is pretty useful. You could get this one, which of course would only cost you 10 diamonds, this does cost you 30, but it will cost you a lot of the upgrading material to get it to UR in comparison to this one, which you can just give 30 and it will immediately be maxed. But moving on to Relic now, his Relic stats-wise, it's very good. The attack is very good. The HP is it's maybe a little bit below average, maybe a little bit average, and so with his defense. But that attack is very good, especially because his attack isn't high. It's like 12.5k is very bad, even for HP defense. For example, if I was to show you Diane, if I was to show you my Diane, who is running HP defense, and she is missing a weapon. She does have perfect gear though, but she is missing 2 weapons. So her attack is just a little bit less. And she doesn't even have a relic yet. But of course, Diana is a newer character, so that is probably a big thing as well. But overall, I highly recommend leveling him up if you don't have him leveled up already, especially level 100. You know, people are like, oh, what's the point of leveling 100 a character? If, you know, you can do their content with him level 90, it's still worth it, only because even if it makes it slightly quicker, or if not, it just gives them more CC, and it gives you more box CC, and it gives you more GP points. There's other incentives now to level them up, even if you don't need to level them up. For example, my Zenari, she's level 90, I think I almost want to be level 100 her, you know, Belmouth is like a 3-turn kill. If you don't 3-turn it, you lose, guaranteed, pretty much. So I don't level her up, but I probably end up will in the future, just for the extra GP points, and just for the sake of having my team full level 100s, but, you know, that's just me. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.